Welcome to the February 18th, 2026 Topsfield Board of Health meeting. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and H 62 as amended by S 2506, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so by utilizing the connection information on the agenda to join the meeting by Zoom video conference or by calling in by phone. You may reach out to the Topsfield Board of Health at health@topsfield-ma.gov or 978-887-1520 for information or assistance in joining the meeting. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, and public participation in any public hearing conducted during this meeting shall be by remote means only. I see that Topsfield Cable TV is here recording the meeting. Is there anyone else who wishes to record the meeting? Okay, hearing no one, so that will be just cable TV recording the meeting. Let's begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. There are no appointments scheduled for this meeting. Are there any that have popped up since we set the agenda? Don't see any. The first.
Cheryl, would Allison be Bill, we think?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Okay.
I remember that from last time. Well, we'll see.
Just let him in.
Yes.
Yep.
Hi, Bill. Welcome. We just started the meeting quickly. Your name is listed as Allison, but we know you're not.
Yeah, can you change that? I don't know how to change that.
So if you take your cursor and go to your picture as it appears on the screen and hover over the right-hand upper corner of it, you'll see 3 dots.
Yeah.
Click on those dots, and then you'll see a pop-down menu, and it says at the bottom either rename or edit.
Rename. All right. Yeah. Got
rename.
it.
Yeah. So I found out it's so easy to do that. You can just do it, keep changing.
Yeah. Perfect.
You did it.
Thank you.
I want to see it. Where are you? Oh, I can't fit all of it there. You did it. Super. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. No appointments. So the first item is the meeting minutes of January 21st, 2026. And I have read them and I don't have any questions or corrections. Does anybody else have any questions or corrections?
No questions or corrections. They were very brief.
Okay, so we will entertain a motion.
I have a question.
Well, Ellen had a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something came up during those minutes about the Maven issue and that the Middleton nurse doesn't know how to do the Maven.
Yeah.
6. So is that something that the new hire will be doing?
Is that written in the minutes somewhere on a page? Can you give me where it's written?
Oh dear. I don't know which page. Let me go to the minutes.
Let me see. Oh, you know what? It's probably in the. Well, so what we're looking for now are, corrections to the actual minutes.
Okay, so I can ask that question later, I guess.
Oh, yeah, as to what's happening with that issue, we are going to talk about that.
Okay.
But
no correction.
Okay. So can we have a motion about the minutes?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes from January 21st meeting.
As written?
As written.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
I will second.
It was either Carl or Bill. I don't know who said.
Bill
Both
gets
of
it.
us, so I don't care.
All right. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor in accepting the minutes as written, say aye. I'll do a roll call. Bill?
Aye.
Ellen?
Aye.
Myself, Carl, oops,
Aye.
thank you. It's unanimous. They are accepted as written. All right. So then the next item on the agenda is the health director report. And that's John.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, John.
Everything's going well in town. I would say Title V installations are definitely slowed down right now with all the snowpack we have. There's only the only ones that are really I would say getting done right now are the more emergent ones. Um, but business is pretty usual, with permits coming in and renewals. We've had some plan reviews and Title V inspection reports. One of the bigger things this past month has been assisting North Coastal Environmental in coordinating some of the sampling efforts. Mike, our consultant, requested that we take samples for the post-closure monitoring of the landfill from the inside of people's homes for the private drinking wells. So Sue and myself have been working with the residents just to set up times. Sue was great. She made an excellent schedule for the sampling company to get out there and made it very time efficient for them to get their work done. Other than that, the new nurse and part-time inspector, I have heard that they did accept the positions. I have not heard when they will start. As of today, I have not received any official start dates for either position. So I'm sure we'll hear about that in the next couple weeks. And then the other kind of interesting thing I had, we had DPH reach out to me this week, just to get some input and ask some questions about um, basically the FIFA event that's going on at Gillette Stadium later on this year. DPH is trying to put together a guidance document for the towns down there. So they're reaching out to some of the towns around the state that host larger gatherings. So we were one of them with the fair. It doesn't really fit perfectly for their concern down there is basically people renting temporary housing on their private properties where the fair is really just people camping or bringing their trailers and stuff and using the fairground. So it's not exactly the same thing, but I gave them some input on, things to look for. I also asked the building department and the fire chief if she had any input she wanted to give. So we'll see if I can give them any more information.
This is a dumb question, but what's the FIFA event?
It's the big World Cup going on at Gillette. I think I was
World
looking
Cup
it up
soccer?
today. There's like 6 or 7 games spread out every like 2 or 3 days at Gillette, and then there's more down at MetLife Stadium in New York City. So I don't know if people are like coming from other countries and playing to stay here for most of the event, spread out over it looked like about a couple weeks or a month.
Hmm.
Um, or what the plan is, but I guess there's concerns with a lot of temporary housing situations down in the Foxborough area and surrounding towns.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Well, I hope they're not camping.
Yeah,
But
it's under like more like, like those what do they call them, the mini homes or like, like things like that.
oh, like maybe the bunk houses like that we have at the fair, maybe something. Who knows? You don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows, but yeah, basically like small. I don't necessarily think tents, but maybe people that have trailers or mobile homes or things like that,
Hmm.
trying to park on private property. I don't see really how they're going to easily regulate that because if it's your private property, how do you how do you tell if it's your mother-in-law staying at your house or someone that you're trying to, rent out your space to? But
Yeah. Well, kudos to DPH for reaching out to local public health. Anyway, I guess since we're the ones who deal with it and they're not, so
Yeah,
I
there
guess
is
that's
a
good.
campground down there, just south of the stadium.
no,
Oh.
interesting.
There's a campground off of Route 1.
Huh.
Oh. So actually, that's where where we did the safari regulations for which is what we call the camping area at the fairgrounds, because there isn't one, and we um, kind of cobbled together a regulation that sort of mirrored the safari regulations, which the state has for almost like an adjunct camping space or
Hmm.
overflow camping space. So maybe that's what maybe the state might be interested in from us in that regard. Um, I don't know that it ever. I honestly can't remember if people actually camped in that field or not. But we had the regulations ready, and you had to create like a map of where all the campsites would be and where were the restrooms and water, potable water and stuff like that.
Mm.
They must exist somewhere. I think they're probably in Sue's computer or your computer, John. Yeah, oh, that'll be interesting. So, yeah, and the Big E might have information on that too, more.
Yeah, I think he had said to me he reached out to them. That was one of the other big sites they were looking at. So
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. That was interesting. Anything else from you, John?
nope, that's it. It's
Okay.
been, you know, it's the middle of winter, so I'm
It
sure
is.
pretty soon it's gonna pick up with a lot of plans coming in and stuff. But it seems like the septics and the building projects just in general are kind of slowing down until we can get some of the snow melted.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Everybody needs things to slow down every once in a while. Okay, so under new business it says Grow Spring Expo on Saturday, April 11th, 2026. The Board of Health has been invited to host a table again at this year's event at the fairgrounds. In the past, John Coulon has manned a table, Sue has manned a table, and also Amy. I think last year went in the afternoon. I went with Sue one year. Sue cannot do it this year, um, and it would involve a Saturday from like 8 to 3 or something like that. Um, I can't do it. Sue can't do it. I don't think John can. I don't know about John, but uh, I think Sue told me that she would prepare materials if somebody wanted to man the booth. And usually we do something on ticks and mosquitoes because gardeners would encounter ticks and mosquitoes. It's not mandatory that we are there. Is anyone interested slash available for doing this on April 11th?
Yeah,
And do you have
I
any?
will be there, but for the Rest Stop Ranch booth or table.
Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, you can't do both though.
I don't
Yeah.
think I can do both unless they're right next to each other. Then I can sort of stand between them.
So, did you mention that Julia had interest in that? Am I remembering that correctly?
Did I mention or who?
Sue.
Sue?
Yes, Julia had mentioned that as part of her role with opioid awareness,
Oh,
she might like to see if they could get some space there. I think she was going to bring that up at the next opioid meeting.
okay. Yeah, because
Be
oh,
in
hmm.
March.
Well, that would be an interesting booth. We'll but right here, so Carl can't do it, and Ellen, are you interested in all? Or
I'd have to check and see, but I
okay,
might be interested in it.
all right.
But
I'm going to be out of town that week, so I
Sorry, Bill. What?
said I'm going to be out of town.
Out of town. Okay. All right. So that's where it stands now. One person might be interested. So if you're
When do you
interested,
need to know?
what's that?
When do you need to know
Good
that?
question. Um, I don't know when we need to know. Sue might know that, but
We, we can find out this
we'll find-
next week or something.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for everyone for considering that. And we'll, if you're interested, just send an email to Sue, I think. And then Sue, can you be the liaison to Martha? Okay. I always like to leave everything with a clear action item. Um, the old business is the public health excellence grant update. And I have, let's see, a couple of things on that. So the next advisory meeting, meeting of the advisory board of the Public Health Excellence Grant for Tri-Town Public Health is on February 26th from 12 to 1 p.m. via Zoom. And you all got the agenda and the link in the mail. I'm going to try to attend. Kevin is our representative from Topsfield. Ellen is our alternate. Ellen told me
And
that she's
out
going
of
to be
town.
away. So
Yeah.
she can't, so Ellen can't go. I will try to go. It's the meeting is open to the public and anyone can go. The agenda includes one thing to be aware of. The third item on the agenda for that meeting is public comment. So anybody who wants to say something can say it right there at that part of the agenda. And then old business is minutes, and then they're going to tell us about the new hires of the nurse and the inspector. So we'll find out about them then. And then these acronyms are annoying. Public Health Excellence Shared Services Collaborative, PHESSC updates. SAPHE 2.0 is the law that governs the Public Health Excellence Program. And as part of that law is reporting. So when they say term two reporting, I think of that as the parts of the fiscal year, which are, I can't think of the word right now. Anyone? It's not it's what?
Quarterly?
Yeah, thank you. Quarter. I think it really ought to say quarter two reporting. And so Jessica, as the coordinator, would be reaching out to each Board of Health and asking for data on inspections and activities that were done so that she could put together some sort of report for the state. The state DPH takes all this stuff and they are they need to report back to the legislature, which is providing the funding. So the legislature is very interested in all of these activities and especially the quantification of everything. And I believe that so the reporting is significant. It's a significant amount of work for people to do. We won't know what it is until we actually get the request. And then the director's updates means that John and Kendall from Boxford and Tracy from Middleton will provide an update on anything they would like to mention. And then I see under new business, there's April 11th. Oh, wait, is that the same day as oh, hold on. It's the same exact date as this Grow Spring Expo. A Tri-Town Health and Wellness Fair. This is the first I'm seeing this. I have been personally involved in health and wellness fairs in the past, and those are equally a lot of work. Um, we have not received, John, have you received any information at all about that?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll find out about that on February 26th. Wow. And then it looks like the next thing is they want to create a website for the shared services area. They should, and that's a big job. Um, in my opinion, that will require another person to be hired, but that's just off the top of my head. Um, and then the last bullet, any other business within 48 hours means uh, in the 48 hours since the agenda was posted, other business might come up and then they can address it here. And then the other thing they sent was a flyer, which you all got, which was so the shared services has created a monthly lunch and learn series. So the next one is apparently on February 19th from 12 to 1 p.m. via Zoom. They want you to sign up using a QR code, and then you'll get the link to it. And on the agenda, it says here, meet Lindsay Body, Executive Director of Tri-County Council. I don't know what the Tri-County Council is. I do know there is a Tri-Town Council for Middleton, Topsfield, Boxford, and that would make more sense. And I think that Lindsay Body is its new executive. So I'm not sure what these words mean. It looks like there will be some community trainings, tri-county, again, initiatives. I can't imagine what the three counties are or what their initiatives might be, and networking collaboration. So I might try to attend that and figure out what a tri-county council is. And anyone can attend. So anything else on the public health? Oh, the excellence grant. So we don't know anything about the inspector or the nurse, but there will be a rather extended period of training, I think, that they will need to go through. So that, yeah, that'll take time. We did receive a communicable disease report from the nurse who was covering for Topsfield in the absence of Julia. And these, I'm not going to read the diseases out loud because it requires some explanation. If you look on there, the second line 2 in the report, it says classification: confirmed, contact, probable, revoked, and suspect. And if you look down the list of diseases, most of them are probable or suspect. There's probably more of those than there are confirmed. That is normal. We have not received a report with this detail in the past. This is the way it looks in MAVEN, which is the Massachusetts Virtual Epidemiological Network. This is the way the report would come out. I was kind of happy to see it in this detail because it points out there is a lot more work that goes on in the background than you would suspect if you just look at the diseases that have been confirmed, because all of these diseases sort of like pending. Think of it like a detective who's assigned, a certain number of crimes, and he's working on all these crimes, being the germs, and working on all these things and trying to figure out if they are in fact confirmed. You can to learn more about what is involved in these investigations, I refer you to 105 CMR 300. It's the state regulation that puts local boards of health in charge of isolation and quarantine of these 73 communicable diseases. There's a very long list of them. This regulation is 29 pages long, but you certainly get all the detail. The local board of health is the enforcing authority for this state regulation. And just fun factoid is, we we isolate the patient, we quarantine the contacts. So those words are always pop up on an exam if you're learning about communicable diseases. Um, and it's the local board of health who would enforce a patient who is sick with the disease to be isolated, and then also to search for all the contacts of that person and enforce their quarantine.
How do we
Yes,
enforce it?
enforce it. Well, years ago, we would tack up a notice on the famous signs of measles, and then you see the children peeking out the window because they couldn't come out of the house. Um, that's a good question. But in the case of the one that where it pops up the most is tuberculosis, and part of the enforcement of tuberculosis is the procedure of directly observed therapy, where the public health nurse has to go to the person's house and see that they're taking their medicines. As long as they're taking their medicines, generally they can be out and about. If you had a patient who was uncooperative or and just refused to cooperate with the therapy, they can be forcibly put into Lemuel Shattuck Hospital and quarantined there. And that's just the extreme case of this. I don't think in all my well, how many 20, 30 years of public health, I don't uh, I can't recall needing to enforce anything. Um, uh, yeah, I have a few anecdotes, but a long time ago there was a mumps case that never got confirmed because the person didn't go back for their second serology to confirm it, but it involved a exposure to mumps on a Russian ship that was in a harbor. And so we're pretty sure he had the mumps, but we never could prove it. And I have no idea if he was quarantined or isolated rather, or if he had, who the contacts might have been. It was one of one of those things that shall remain a mystery. That was the most interesting one I can think of. Um, but anyway, you can read more in the 105 CMR 300 about that. And so the point being that we need a public health nurse. We need space for that person to work from Topsfield where they can make confidential phone calls to people, because that's what you need to do is call the people, and you're just cold calling them. You get a report and you're calling the people, and you need to have a really in-depth conversation, and the goal being to contain the disease and not have it spread. So those are the highlights of that. And it's quite a learning curve, because all of these, there's 73 diseases. Each one of them is different. There are different isolation and quarantine requirements, different lab tests, different incubation periods, contagious periods, modes of transmission. It's very interesting and involved when you get into it. So we really need this new public health nurse, and I'm looking forward to meeting her and working with her.
And that
Any
would,
comments or questions, Ellen?
I was just going to say, and that's that whole Maven issue as well that was brought up in the minutes.
Yeah.
That the public health nurse in Middleton does not know how to read the Maven report. So want to make
Well,
sure that's part of the training for the new nurse for the
Yeah.
PhD.
PhD. Apparently, they figured it out that the person who didn't know how to get the report did get it, because here it is. So apparently that issue has been resolved since what was written in the minutes.
Okay,
And so I think that this came from not the new hired person, but the person who was covering from us from Middleton, if that makes sense. But yeah, the newly hired people have a lot of training to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a little concerning. But if you didn't get people applying that had any experience,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's hard, almost nobody really does this. I mean, the local doctors get involved to a certain extent, but not much. They're focused on curing their own patient, and they don't really have
Hmm.
the major role in the public health containment of spread of communicable diseases. That's our role. So, all right.
where the VNA has gotten out of doing, public health kinds of things, do you think that was related to the grant? That
Say that one more time, Ellen.
the VNA, who used to do a lot of this stuff, has gotten out of that
Yeah.
business. They're just doing, what did you say the other night? Just the rehab stuff and not the public health issues.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering if that's in response to the fact that we have this grant.
I don't think so. Because that problem was percolating long before we got the grant.
Okay.
I don't know, Bill may remember this, but gosh, it had to be 10 years ago. We suddenly got a letter. It was whenever we were in the old building, the new town hall hadn't been built yet, whenever that was. Um, and we got a letter.
Yeah.
And they said, the VNA suddenly said, this is just to inform you we will no longer be investigating communicable diseases anymore.
Right.
And Bill, you remember that, Bill?
I do remember that. I just don't remember what we did as a result.
We told them they had to. We told them we said
Oh,
that
because we
that's
had a
not
contract.
huh?
Because we had a contract. Is
We
that
had a
what
contract,
Yeah.
but what you didn't know, Bill, because then in the ensuing, I mean, the first thing we did was we wrote a letter and we said, this is what we're paying you for. You don't have an option. This is what we need you to do. And they said, oh, all right,
Yeah.
we'll do it then. But then later, I looked at the contract and the contract was really inadequate. Um, it really was. I don't know who wrote it. I never wrote. So I decided at one point, and this was within the past 5 or 6 years, I said, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to rewrite this contract. And I rewrote it using this regulation 105 CMR 300 and the language of it and what they needed to provide us with. And it was very specific. And they were they were not pleased to get that. And they basically pushed back and said, we really can't do that. We don't want to do that. And I said, but this is what we need you to do because this is what we're legally bound to do. And that's why we're hiring you because you are acting as our public health nurse. And I think that the creation of the detailed contract was sort of the last straw. And they said, oh my goodness, this is a lot of legal stuff. We really don't want to do this anymore. And they announced that they were getting out of the public health business and they were going to focus on hospice from now on. And that we were the last local town or city to that particular VNA was providing this service for. We were the last one because they had gotten rid of all their other affiliations. They didn't want to do it anymore.
Mm.
So that's how come we were then officially without a public health nurse. That's how come the grant could take over because we didn't break the contract, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah. So we're back to square one here with needing a public health nurse. And I can't wait to meet her and work with her. Hopefully Ellen, maybe when we figure out when she is going to come to Topsfield, you want to be there with me.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was good.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, any more on the the grant, the excellence grant? We think it's funded through 2027. That's what Sue and I were discussing today. That's what we were told by people at the state. So after that, I don't know. So an opioid settlement funds update. I do not have one. I believe the most recent opioid meeting was canceled.
It was.
It
And it's
was.
scheduled for March 5th.
It was scheduled. Okay, so the next one is March 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all we have on that. I believe that Julia is still employed 1/2 hour a week um, to do the follow-up for the opioid settlement funds.
Mm-hmm.
So any information, she would have any information about that.
Yeah. And I go to meetings.
Sorry.
I go to those meetings too.
Oh, you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any update?
No, because we haven't had a meeting.
Because we haven't had. Okay. So hopefully between Ellen and Julia, maybe we'll have an update next month.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, March 5th. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled again.
Yeah. I know. And it got canceled at the last minute from what the email that
Yes.
I got. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the day before.
The day before. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, that's better than just finding out about the meeting before.
That's true. Well, okay, so I will move on to bills paid and monthly revenue. We paid $38 for Board of Health telephone. We paid $870 for dead animal pickup and burying, and I did see the detail on that. I think there were a couple of deer and maybe a beaver, but some substantial animals.
Oh, wow.
And that doesn't show on this of
Mm-hmm.
what they are, but I see them when I sign them. And then the revenue was $1,640. More than 1,000 of that was for food permits, which reflects that the annual food permits turnover in December and January, I guess. And then the rest of them are some Title V related things and tobacco sales. And that revenue goes directly into the general fund of town. I'm not aware of any or are there any questions about the bills or the revenue? Nope. I'm not aware of any specific correspondence other than the Grove Spring stuff, because none is listed here. So as far as I can tell, we don't have any more topics to discuss. Does anyone have anything they would like to talk about? Okay,
The couple of things that I had.
you did the things that you had. Okay. Well, this is a short meeting, but it does not reflect all the work that goes on at Board of Health. I can tell you that because I'm in there a couple of times a week. And I think I'm just going to say this, feel free to go in there and talk to John and Sue if you're just curious about things or just to say hello, because there's a lot that goes on that doesn't rise to the level of being discussed at a public meeting. And it's all pretty interesting
Mm.
from my point of view. Ellen's agreeing.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. It is 7:09 p.m. If people don't have anything else they want to talk about, we could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thanks, Ellen.
I'll second.
Thanks, Bill. Any
Thank
discussion?
you. No discussion from me.
All those in favor of adjourning, roll call. Ellen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Myself, it is unanimous. We are adjourned at 7:10 p.m.